How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Jay, and today I'm going to tell you how you can get up to a 7% return on your savings with zero risk. Is that something you might be interested in? I thought so. So let's get right into it. If you've been paying attention over the last couple months to a year, you'll have heard a lot about inflation. It seems to be at the top of everybody's mind. Inflation rates are rising. And when inflation rates rise, the value of your cash sitting in your bank account deteriorates. That has people pouring into riskier and riskier investments, going all in on Bitcoin or growth stocks or whatever else in a desperate attempt to outpace inflation and preserve their wealth. But thankfully, there is a safe and secure way where we can still outpace inflation and keep our savings safe. And that's why I've taken a large chunk of my savings account and recently put it into ibonds. Now, what are ibonds? iBond is simply a Series I savings bond from the US government. And I know what you're thinking, now wait a minute, savings bond? Aren't those boring things I used to get on my birthday from my grandma? And the answer is no. These things are Series EE savings bonds, and we're talking about Series I savings bonds. We'll get a little more into the exact differences later, but the Series I bonds we're talking about in this video are a savings bond issued by the US government, but the interest rate on the bond adjusts along with inflation. I-bonds have a maturity period of 30 years. That's essentially the amount of time the bond will pay interest to you over. If you do invest in I-bonds, it's important to note that I-bonds cannot be cashed in within 1 year of the purchase. So you gotta hold these things for at least 12 months. Also, if you hold them for 5 years or more, there is no penalty for cashing them in after that amount of time. If you cash in the bond between years 2 and 5, all you're gonna do is you're gonna pay a penalty of the last 3 months worth of interest. So it's not a terrible penalty if you have to do it, but if you're gonna get into these, you should probably plan on holding for at least 5 years. What are the benefits of I-bonds, and are they safe? And the main benefit of I-bonds, as we've kind of already established, is to protect your cash savings against inflation. And yes, they are safe, and safety is also one of the major benefits. I-bonds are backed and guaranteed by the US Treasury, so there is essentially zero risk. And if you want to argue about the US Treasury collapsing or defaulting or whatever, if that happens, we have much bigger problems to worry about than the value of our bonds. And with so many people flocking into crypto or overexposing themselves to stocks in order to outpace inflation, I-bonds offer a way to do that without taking on the risk that those other investments carry along with them. And obviously, another perk is I-bonds carry a much higher interest rate than things like high yield savings accounts or CDs or any other bank account you're going to find out there, the places where you would normally think about storing your cash savings. And it does so without adding any additional risk to those more traditional areas of savings. So now you might be sitting there, okay, I'm listening. What are the drawbacks? And the main drawbacks we've already mentioned. If you buy them, you cannot cash them in for 12 months. And you have to hold for at least 5 if you don't want to pay that penalty of 3 months interest for cashing out between years 2 and 5. Another drawback is, this is a bond, this is a conservative investment, even though it is designed to outpace inflation. But any money you're putting into I-bonds, you're probably not going to outperform things like crypto or the stock market or other risky investments. And really, it's not meant to do that in the first place. It's meant to be on the conservative side of your asset allocation, just another place you might want to hold your cash savings where you're going to earn more than 0.5% interest or whatever a high yield savings account is paying. Next, let's get into how I-bonds are taxed. And I probably should have mentioned this along with the benefits, because I-bonds are exempt from any state and local taxes. So that means I-bonds offer an additional benefit if you live in a high tax city or state like New York or California, something like that. You have to pay federal tax on the interest, but you only have to pay that tax when you redeem the bond. So if you buy an I-bond and you hold it for 10 years, you don't have to pay tax on the interest you're earning until you cash it in after 10 years. An I-bond can be 100% tax-free, federal, state, local, whatever, if you use the bond to pay for college tuition or fees. So I-bonds can also be a great way to save for college alongside a 529 plan or something like that. How do I buy I-bonds? And it's easy enough to buy I-bonds, but there is only one place you can buy them from, and that is direct from the US government at the treasurydirect.gov website. So you can't just walk into your bank and buy I-bonds. You can't get them through your broker like you can other kinds of government or corporate bonds. You have to get them through treasurydirect.gov. There's a minimum purchase of $25 and a maximum of $10,000 per person that you can invest in any calendar year. So if you're married, you can buy $10,000 worth of I-bonds, and your husband or wife can also buy $10,000 in any given year. You can also buy $10,000 worth in December, and then wait till January and buy $10,000 more if you want to do things like that. And the only way you can invest more than $10,000 in I-bonds in any given year is the second way you can purchase I-bonds, and that is with your tax refund. If you buy I-bonds with your tax refund, they'll let you buy an additional $5,000 worth per year, bringing the total up to $15,000 worth of I-bonds you can buy in any given year. When it comes time to redeem your bonds, when you want that money to go do something else with it, you can redeem them straight through treasurydirect.com where you bought them from. Or if you happen to purchase the paper version of I-bonds, you can go to any bank in the US and you can redeem the paper version of the I-bonds at any bank. Finding this useful so far? If you're getting interested about I-bonds, please hit the thumbs up down below. It helps me and the channel out, and I really appreciate it. So we know that I-bonds are a type of savings bond from the government, and they're designed to outpace inflation. Well, how exactly do they do that? How do they calculate the interest rate so we're sure that we're actually outpacing inflation? Unlike a CD or a typical savings bond that you're probably more familiar with, an I-bond's interest rate is variable. The interest rate for an I-bond is a composite rate. That means there's a fixed rate over the life of the bond that's set whenever you purchase the bond, and then there's an inflation rate component to the interest rate, and that changes every 6 months. So as I sit here recording this, the composite rate for I-bonds for the prior 6 months has been 3.54%. But starting in just a week or two, the composite rate of I-bonds is going to adjust based upon the past 6 months of inflation data, and the new composite rate for the 6 months starting November 1st will be 7.12%. So that means if you buy your $10,000 worth of I-bonds on November 1st, you're guaranteed that that $10,000 will be earning a 7.12% interest rate over the next 6 months. At that time, it will adjust again. If interest rates keep going up slowly, the interest rate will probably go up. If they come down, the interest rate will probably be slower lightly. But you can see by having that adjusting rate every 6 months, that's how I-bonds keep pace with inflation, and you can be assured that the value of your money isn't withering away while it's sitting in this investment. And I mentioned these guys a little earlier. These are your typical savings bonds that you're probably more familiar with. You probably got a few of them when you were a kid like I did. I actually just found these in a drawer. I'm embarrassed to say what the date on these actually is because it'll make me look really old. But these are Series EE bonds. And I-bonds differ from Series EE bonds in a couple of important ways. With these Series EE savings bonds, interest rate you get when you purchase the bond is fixed for the life of the bond. So whatever the interest rate is when you buy these, that's what you're going to get forever. While with the I-bond, like we just saw, that interest rate will change every 6 months to pace with inflation. The Series EE bonds, however, do have a guaranteed return that doubles your initial investment if you hold them for 20 years. I-bonds don't make any sort of guarantee like that. There's another type of bond investment out there that's also designed to keep pace and protect your money from inflation, and those are called TIPS, or Treasury Inflation Protected Securities. Now, TIPS and I-bonds are similar, but they differ in a lot of key ways. While I-bonds, you have to hold them for at least a year and at least 5 years if you don't want to take any kind of interest rate penalty, and I-bonds can only really be bought or sold through the treasurydirect.gov website. TIPS have no minimum holding period, and TIPS can be bought and sold like a security. You can go on to Fidelity or Charles Schwab or TD Ameritrade right now and you can buy and sell tips just like you would a stock. Treasury inflation protected securities are also available in ETF form, and I think the one from Vanguard is actually ticker symbol TIPS, TIPS. However, like I previously mentioned, the interest on ibonds is only taxed when you redeem the bond. If you buy tips, you have to pay taxes on the interest on those every year. So tips are getting taxed regularly, ibonds only when you redeem them. While ibonds are great for your savings, I wouldn't put your entire emergency fund into ibonds, but if you have some money you're looking to save for a down payment on a car or a house or a wedding or something like that, and you don't want to risk it in the stock market, ibonds are a great way to earn a high level interest on your savings with zero risk. So let me know if these are something you're going to put any money into. Leave a like down below if you enjoyed this video. Check out these videos over here if you want to see more from me. I hope you enjoyed this one. Hope you enjoy those, and I'll see you in the next one.